Central Mortgage and Housing Corporation created a scholarship. The scholarship would enable one student from every school of architecture in Canada, at the time there were only 5, to travel across all of North America to study housing. I had the good fortune to be the McGill selection. And together with 4 other students, we traveled the continent. And I came back with a conclusion. We had to reinvent the apartment building. We had to counter the suburban phenomena by creating livable urban housing. That led to the thesis in itself. Fast forward 2 years later, my professor, Sandy Van Ginkel, shows up in Philadelphia, where I was working for the great architect Louis Kahn, and says, we're going to have a World's Fair, and a master plan needs to be developed, and I would like you to come and lead the master plan team. And I said, I'd love to do that, but I have one condition. I'd like to take my thesis and develop it into a major theme pavilion for the exhibition. It was Terre des Hommes. It was to be a theme pavilion. And he said, as long as you do it on your own time. And I'm indebted to the Expo management that when I did arrive and did produce the plan for the master plan for Expo, I was given the resources to assemble a team of the greatest engineers and young architects and develop the proposal to the point where we could present it to the 3 levels of government. And lo and behold, the idea was approved and embraced. The notion was rethink and show that an apartment building, high-rise, high density, can be reconfigured to give a completely different quality of life. And I think that was also the magic of Habitat. That's why 50 million people went through the building during Expo, and most of them left Expo with that as their most vivid memory. I mean, I'm still now, 50 years later, stopped by people of my generation who say, oh, I went there as a kid with my parents, changed my life. It wasn't so much it was a solution, as much as it opened up people's imagination to what is possible. It is only now, 50 years later, that the ideas of Habitat are becoming dominant again and powerful in the academia and the schools of architecture, and the concept being embraced by many architects in their own work and who acknowledge it as the beginning of humanizing megascale and intervening with the mega building in a way that attempts to give it identity and connection with nature. What made the Expo a success, first of all, is we, Canada, every facet, every level of government, every level of industry, got together. The City of Montreal, the Province of Quebec, the federal government, the cement industry, the appliance industry, the transportation industry. They all got together. I mean, the access we had to the private sector, to industry, in creating Expo, not just Habitat, all of Expo, every facet of Expo. There were innovations in lighting, in landscaping, in hydrology, made something great. So I guess the lesson is we ought to stick together, and we ought to pull down the barriers between those different levels, private and public, government and industry, provincial and federal, because we achieve great things when we do.